Hello, I'm going to do a quick version of the Quigley Cripple. This will be a Flav today. It's kind of a practice fly. I'm getting ready for Fly Fishers International Fly Tying Group's Pro Series. I'll be the featured tyer this Wednesday, April 6th at 8:30, and I'll put a link down below. Just going to make a few turns here at the beginning. And I've already lost my gold wire. There it is. This is the gold wire I'm going to use as the rib on this. And of course I'll size this if I were tying this in an 18, like a PMD, let's say, in an 18. I might use a finer wire. I'm going to tie this in on the far side of the hook with the idea that thread torque will take it underneath, which is where I want it. I'm going to go all the way to the bend. I think I even went a couple more on that example fly. I'll just do this in a more or less typical manner. This is just pheasant tail. This one's a little ragged, so I'm going to have to try to find... I want about a half dozen pieces on this. I'm going to use this for both the tail and the body. And I want a short tail. Let's see. Yeah, it's about... It might be a little too short. We'll go with that. I'm going to just trap it back here once. And head up to the front. This abdomen, like all abdomens on cripples that I've tied, standard cripples, will comprise about half the hook. But I always go a little bit further than that. A little bit past halfway, and I'll then double back with the dubbing, and that makes a smooth transition from the abdomen to the thorax. We're going to counter wrap this wire, which means coming over the top towards you, angled in the opposite direction that you wound the body, the abdomen. And that will make it stand out a little more. It won't get buried in there, and it'll make the fly secure. Now, when I go to tie this off, if I just tie this off conventionally, I'm going to be winding the thread in such a way that it will tend to loosen up the rib, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'll finish this in front of the thread. Take a loop around the thread, and now I'm wrapping the other direction. Hold this under tension, take a couple of turns, then take a couple of more. All right. Now remember, our thread's reversed here. So what I can do now is hold this behind the thread, go this way with it. Now our thread's going in its typical direction. We'll double this back. And there is some bulletproof ribbing there. Wiggle this back and forth to break it so you don't ruin your scissors. Next, we're going to do a dubbing ball for the thorax. I'm going to dub this as finely as I can reasonably do it. I just get a lot more control. That's not very fine. I've been practicing dubbing left-handed. I'm convinced, and the jury's still out with me, but I'm convinced that you can dub a little finer. You get more pressure and twist with the left hand, but that may be in my head. Now, I want to be sure. I don't mind if I cover up one of these ribs, but I want to be sure that this dubbing ball leaves the first quarter of this shank pretty much bare, giving me room to put in the wing and the hackle, leaving room. I think this is going to work. Wing is on this is not overly large. It's in fact, that is overly large. I want about 3/4 of the shank length. Well, 3/4 hook length, I'll call it. Maybe we'll call this shank length. Tie this right on top of the hook, and I've twisted this thread up because I want it really strong. Very easy to break the thread here. And I'm taking a couple turns back into the thorax to really create some room for myself. You cut that off abruptly right at the end of the thorax, just straight up and down. Right here, I'm going to tie in my hackle. Strip it a little longer. We'll try to bind it down in front as well. Should do it. 3-turn whip finish and we're done. Going back to front. So I want to get this first turn back as far as possible. Open my scissors up and pull it through. There's the Quigley Cripple. Nice clean eye, that's what we want, and that can be hard to get if you're not careful with your thorax.